Hey, welcome back. Today, I'm going to take a little closer look at a new ship just finishing up. It's maybe not finished yet, but RGV, Resource Gathering Vehicle. Still playing with the name a little bit. I had a Resource Expedition Vehicle, but that was REV. It sounded more like Revision. But yeah, so the idea here basically was to, with the new Alpha 10 mining being so much better, you know, the kind of manual mining with your drill or survival tool, to make a vehicle where you could just fly up, get to the moon, or fly around the planet, find the things, hop out here, mine it up, you know, using your drone, and just have a platform to stand on while you're doing that. So basically, you know, as soon as you hop out, you're kind of standing on top of the cockpit. It looks really busy, and it is purposely. The role-playing idea is the thing is kind of built out of the resources that it goes around and finds and gathers up, and, you know, pieces parts from other ships, and it's kind of the idea behind it. But so you've also got a ramp here if you want to pull up to like a unknown helix or something, and get up to it. You know, you can just hop over the little fence there. That's just to keep you from falling off when you're walking around casually. But this takes you up another couple blocks, and it's pretty. I went ahead and put a signal in here so you can extend it while you're flying up. See where you want the ramp to end up. I had the miniguns or Gatling guns up on top of here, but I'm pretty sure they were going to be hitting this thing instead of shooting past it, because they were there and there. So I took them down and put them on the side here. So it's now just got two miniguns. This thing's not really made to raid or attack POIs. It's just to defend itself while you're flying around if drones come in. So it's just got two Gatling guns. You could put rockets on here and more Gatlings and whatever, but I didn't want to encourage people to go into combat with this thing. The deck, a lot of this deck you see is container extension. Texture, yeah, so a lot of this deck is container extensions, which is tougher than steel, but if you lose one, I don't know exactly how it works, but you lose at least some of your cargo if you lose some of your extensions, and maybe all of it. If you lose one extension, you might lose all your cargo, or it might fall to the ground in a crate, and if you get out in time and grab it, you can do that, but I just don't know. So, yeah. So I threw a bunch of these cargo boxes on here, you know, just while you're out. There's a fridge on that side. There's another fridge buried inside that you can get to from the P menu, but I figure while you're out here, if you're out with your drone and you are picking plants and stuff too, or killing critters and getting the meat, you might want a handy place just to offload that while you're still standing out here. Same thing with all these other boxes. They're just places to offload little stuff and make it look like you're, you know, on a mission to go out and get stuff. So inside, I've got the oxygen out here as well, oxygen station and armor station. And then inside, there's room right here for a warp drive. It's 3 by 2 by 5 all the way across here, but you'd have to knock out that block, and the constructor to fit a warp drive in here. The constructor could be moved up to the front here. This space is also open. This is the size that you need for the new shield generator, or whatever it's called. It's 2 by 3 by 1 tall. So you could put a shield generator here, but then you got to put a pentaxid tank in here somewhere. So you probably have to remove some RCS. There's 12 of these in here right now. Same thing, if you put a warp drive in here, you got to put a pentaxid tank. So if you're choosing between the two, if you choose a warp drive, you could remove this, take the constructor, put it up here along with the pentaxid tank, and then you're ready to go. But if you put a shield thing in here and a warp drive, then you got to remove something to make room for a pentaxid tank. There's currently 2 fuel tanks, I think only 2 oxygen tanks. There's the additional refrigerator, the cores right there, Wi-Fi, couple generators. But the other thing about this is this was designed as a level 7 vehicle, unlike level 7. So it's really like the idea is it's the first thing you get to take to the moon to get more resources. Really pretty cheap to build. You need 34 cobalt. I'm not exactly sure where the cobalt's coming in. Probably, don't know. I'll have to look. But anyway, at level 10, there's a bunch of different upgrades you can do. You can put the armored cockpit in. You can move up to jet engines at level 10. But then you have additional issues to worry with. These medium thrusters are nice because they allow you to do a flush mount or 45, slant mount. They're only 2 blocks long. The jet engines are 3 blocks long, so you have to start finding more room for those. I also put 5 up thrust engines in here. So it's got more up thrust than anything else. There's 17, 17, 17, 17, except for the up, which is 29, and the down's only 8. But you don't need very much down thrust with gravity. It's 3 small thrusters right here for the down thrust. But the storage, it's almost 4,000. And then the ammo is over here, and it's really twice as big as it needs to be. 1,700. 1,000 is a pretty good number to have. So this will hold, I don't know, 8 or 9 full stacks of ammo. And again, it's not really a combat vehicle, so you don't need that many. But anyway, I took it into weights and volumes game, and I was able to fill this all the way up and the ammo all the way up and still lift off the ground, which is about 60 tons, I think. The ship itself is 27.5 tons, but with all the cargo filled, you're up at around 60 something tons, and it still lifts. That's with these 2 additional. I only had 3 here. I added these 2. It would only lift 44 tons in that configuration, so I added those 2 additional lift engines, and it lifts about 60 tons or so. So there was room to put additional cargo extensions in here, but I left them out just because you can't really lift it. And same thing here. I think there's one or two blocks in here that are could be extensions, but are currently steel blocks to separate. This platform up here mostly is tied to this main storage, but the ammo controller also has some extensions that come over to about here. So take you to my measuring wall over here. So you can see less than 3 blocks in width, 1, 2, 3 CV/base blocks, and less than 4 in length. So basically 3x4 space will let you park it. And the height is about a block and a half. That's half block marker there. So yeah, thrust I'm doing 2-3 directions now. 42% power usage to 58% depending on what I'm doing. So the warp drive I think is level 10. The shield is level 7 and the protect is level 7. So you could throw those in there if you had the resources to build them, but I just left it out to keep it cheaper. So basically this thing is supposed to look like a SUV or a minivan, kind of a truck, space truck, to go out and to your POIs and loot whatever you carry. Now, you know, things like CV thrusters weigh, 160 tons or something, so you're not going to be able to pick something like that up, but sync that back up. But, if you get to an unknown helix or something, you want to get up to that loot thing at the top. Stick a ramp out there, and I'm still in God mode, but I'm not. So that's the idea, to be able to poke that into that, little narrow spot in the helixes and various POIs. Hey, I just got through actually publishing this as I speak, and so I wanted to come back and catch up on a couple little changes. It really just texturing. Added a few more details, little curved block in here and various things. I took out some of this warning sign, warning symbol, mostly because of this block right here. I had these symbols all the way across here, but you see it goes a different direction than the rest of these. Over here, the opposite of that block works fine with these because they go that direction. But on this side, it's rotated around, and it's one of the new Alpha 10 blocks, and I can't really rotate it to fix that texture, so I thought there's enough going on with all this crazy coloring and stuff anyway, so I just took that rows of warning symbols off. And a few other little changes, but I want to talk a little bit more about before, when I looked at the build requirements. There's 34 cobalt, and I couldn't figure out where all that was. It's all in that constructor right there. If you remove the constructor, you remove the cobalt requirement altogether, but then you don't have a constructor. So as mentioned earlier, this is a level 7 build, and so I wanted to keep things, as cheap as possible, but I'm leaving that in there. And like I said earlier, you could put a warp drive in here, but you'd have to remove the constructor itself along with the 2 blocks beside it, this one here and that one there. Those 2 blocks, so you'd be exposed to the outside. The warp drive would sit right there behind these lockers, which you could replace or eliminate or reshape the back. You could always extend the entire thing by another block or 2 if you wanted to, but I'm just going to leave it the way it is. I don't think it's worth. At level 10 you can get a warp drive. This is a level 7. Level 10 you can do the warp drive, but at level 10 you're open to, as I mentioned earlier, bigger thrusters and armored cockpit and various other things you might want to upgrade. And at that point, at level 10 or 12 or 15 even, you're likely to move on to a bigger, better ship anyway. This is really just meant as an early resource gathering ship. Like as mentioned, there is room for a shield generator in here, but again, not sure it's worth it. Maybe it is. Just keep building the ship up as you grow, but if you put the shield generator in here, you'd still have to add the pentaxid tank somewhere. You can do that back here, unless you put in a warp drive and the shield generator, and then you got more space issues to deal with. And also, if you put a shield generator in, there's 2 generators in here currently, and they don't use all the available power when you're flying this thing. Power usage is 19%, doing one direction, jumps up to 59 when I'm doing multiple directions, power usage. But if you put a shield generator in here and try and generate shields as you're flying, you're going to be using 120% or 140% or something. You'd have to add an additional generator or 2 to handle that, and that may also mean adding additional fuel tanks, and you get the idea. So as mentioned, it's really designed as an early game resource gathering vehicle, and thus the name resource gathering vehicle. So anyway, I'm putting this on the workshop right now. In the previous video I'd gone around and looked at some of these other ships, but I think I'm going to cut that part out and just tack this on to the end, and I'll do that in separate videos, since this one is really designed to be linked to this one in the workshop. So thanks for watching. Hope you find use for this, and see you next time.